There is a kind of exhaustion that has nothing to do with sleep. It comes from carrying a life that feels heavier every year, even though nothing about it has changed. It comes from waking up with plans you don't believe in anymore, from opening your eyes and already feeling behind, already feeling like you failed before the day even began. You tell yourself you will start soon, that you will get serious, that this version of you is temporary. But the days keep passing and the person you meant to become never arrives. And the hardest part is not that you are struggling, it's that you are struggling quietly. No one sees it. No one knows how often you negotiate with yourself, how often you say, just one more video, just one more distraction, just one more delay. Every time you do that, something small inside you pulls away. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a subtle weakening of trust, until eventually you stop believing your own promises. You don't feel broken, you feel scattered, pulled apart by impulses, by fear, by the need to escape the discomfort of being alone with your own thoughts. And in the quiet moments when the noise fades, you are left with a question that feels dangerous to ask. Is this who I am now? But there is something almost no one tells you. The mind does not change through force. It changes through something much smaller, through a shift so quiet it is easy to miss. Sometimes the beginning of strength is not a breakthrough, it is a return. Ethan is 36. He lives in a small apartment in a city that never really sleeps, but he does. Not physically, emotionally. His days look full, but they feel empty. Meetings, messages, deadlines. And in between them, the constant feeling that he is running out of time to become who he was meant to be. He remembers being younger, when everything felt possible, when he believed he could shape his own future. Now he feels like someone watching his life from the outside. Every night, he tells himself tomorrow he will change. He will wake up early. He will train. He will focus. He will stop wasting time. And every morning, he wakes up tired and reaches for his phone. Not because he wants to, but because it is easier than facing the weight of everything he has not done. One evening, Ethan is sitting alone in his apartment. The lights are off except for a small lamp by the couch. His phone buzzes with a reminder he set weeks ago. Start training. He stares at it for a long time. Then he dismisses it. And in that moment, something inside him collapses. Not anger, not frustration, just a heavy realization. I don't trust myself anymore. He realizes that he has become someone who avoids his own life, who escapes from his own potential. And that feels more painful than any failure ever has. A few days later, while searching for something he can't quite name, Ethan comes across a story about a man named Miyamoto Musashi, a warrior who lived without comfort, without distraction, without the need to be liked. Musashi believed that the greatest battle was not against another man, it was against the chaos inside the mind. One line stays with Ethan. The way is in training. Not motivation, not force, training. So Ethan decides on one small thing. Every morning, before his phone, before the noise, before the world asks anything of him, he will sit still for 2 minutes and breathe. That's all. No transformation, no grand promise, just 2 minutes. The first morning, nothing feels calm. His legs ache, his back stiffens, his mind fills with noise. Thoughts rush in faster than he can catch them. Things he forgot to do. Things he is afraid to face. Old conversations. Old regrets. His hand twitches toward his phone. The familiar urge to escape. To fill the silence with something easy. But he stays. 2 minutes. Just breathing. When it ends, nothing magical happens, but something subtle has shifted. For once, he did what he said he would do. And for a mind that has learned to avoid discomfort, that is not small. It is unfamiliar. Most people think discipline is about force, about pushing yourself harder, about becoming stricter, harsher, louder inside your own head. Musashi believed something different. He believed discipline was a form of relationship, a relationship with discomfort, with boredom, with uncertainty. Zen teaches that when you run from discomfort, the mind grows weaker. When you stay, it becomes still. Modern neuroscience now understands why. The brain is always learning what keeps it safe. When you avoid something, the brain says, "This is dangerous." When you return, even in a small way, it learns something new. "I can be here. I can endure this." Ethan misses days. Some mornings he forgets. Some mornings he does not want to feel what waiting in silence brings up. Old habits call to him. Scroll, distract, delay. A part of him whispers that it does not matter anyway, that he will never really change. But another part remembers something he felt that first morning. Not calm, not happiness, just honesty. So he sits again. 2 minutes. Musashi wrote that a warrior must remain in the present, even when fear is loud, especially when fear is loud. Ethan begins to understand this. The breathing is not about relaxation, it is about staying. After a few weeks, something begins to soften inside him. He notices he reacts less quickly. He listens more closely. He pauses before escaping into distraction. Nothing dramatic, no sudden clarity, just a quiet space opening where panic used to live. Zen calls this no mind. Not empty, just not pulled. Musashi lived this way, moving without hesitation, seeing without panic, acting without noise inside his head. Ethan still struggles. He still procrastinates. He still feels afraid of wasting his life. But now he notices it, and that awareness is the beginning of strength. Weeks pass, then months. The 2 minutes become 5. The 5 become 10. And slowly a new rhythm forms. Not someone who forces himself, someone who returns. There's a moment, after you have been returning to yourself long enough, when you start to feel something new. Not excitement, not confidence, a quiet steadiness, a sense that even when things feel uncertain, you're still here. Ethan notices this one morning while sitting in silence. His thoughts still wander, his worries still appear, but they do not pull him away as quickly. They move like clouds instead of storms. Musashi believed that most suffering comes from being dragged by the mind, by fear, by desire, by the endless stories we tell ourselves about who we are supposed to be. Zen teaches that the self is not something you have to create. It is something you return to when the noise falls away. Ethan begins to realize that his struggle was never laziness, it was fragmentation. His attention was always somewhere else, his identity scattered across distractions and expectations. Neuroscience now shows that when attention is trained, the brain reorganizes, neural pathways strengthen, impulses weaken, not because you force them to, but because you stop feeding them. Ethan still has days where he falls back into old habits. He still scrolls, still avoids, still doubts, but now he returns sooner. Musashi wrote that a warrior adapts without panic. He does not judge the mistake, he corrects it. Ethan begins to live this way, not hating himself for failing, not collapsing into shame, just noticing and returning. Months pass. His posture changes. His voice becomes calmer. His presence more grounded. People don't know why, but they feel it. Something about him feels solid. He has not become louder. He has become still. Musashi believed the quiet mind was the deadliest weapon, not because it attacks, but because it does not hesitate. Ethan sees now, mental strength was never about forcing yourself to be better. It was about becoming someone who does not abandon himself. One morning, he sits down and realizes something simple. He is no longer waiting to feel ready. He is already here. That is when the truth becomes clear. The habit did not change him. The person who kept returning did. Identity was the real battlefield all along. Musashi understood this centuries ago. You do not win by trying harder. You win by being present. Ethan feels something he has not felt in years: trust. Not in the world, in himself. And that changes everything. There is a quiet kind of confidence that does not need to prove itself. It does not announce itself. It does not compete. It simply stays. Ethan begins to carry himself differently. Not proud, not intense, just present. He still has problems, still has fears, still has days when he feels unsure, but he no longer runs from them. Musashi believed that the strongest warrior is not the one who never feels fear. It is the one who does not let fear move him. Ethan notices something simple. When things feel overwhelming, he returns to his breath, to the one place he knows he will not abandon. Weeks become months. Months become a quiet new life. The apartment feels different now. The mornings feel less heavy. Not because everything is fixed, but because he is here to meet it. This is what Musashi meant by mastery. Not domination, not control, presence. If you feel lost, you do not need a new life. You need one place to come back to. One breath, one small promise, one moment you stay instead of escape. Let that be your training. The mind becomes strong when it stops running. Musashi lived with nothing but what was real. No comfort, no distraction, just the moment in front of him. You do not need to become someone else. You only need to return to who you already are. That is the way of mental strength. Not loud, not dramatic, just unmovable. And when you become unmovable, the world feels different, because for the first time in a long time, you are no longer fighting yourself. You are home.